It is hard not to get excited about the transit of Venus. Everyone in the solar system is talking about it. The transit is a period of a few hours when the planet Venus passes directly between the Sun and the Earth. It will give Earthmen and women a view of the planet as a small black disk. And Otago Museum Visitor Programs Coordinator Catherine Gadd says plenty of children are better educated about the event after an astronomical adventures day yesterday.
Today we're celebrating the transit of Venus. It's an amazing event. You're not going to see it again in the 21st century, so it's just an awesome day to try and get the community involved with it, giving out solar viewers so people can watch it for themselves on Wednesday, and then just giving out candy floss, face painting, really celebrating as much as possible, and learning too with some science.
As your mother should have told you many times over, do not look directly at the sun or you'll go blind.
Well, ideally you need to have solar viewers because it's really important. Don't look at the sun without eye protection. Sunglasses aren't enough. If you want to be looking at the sun, you need to have yourself a solar viewer. I do believe there's other organisations selling them out in town. Please don't look at the sun without a solar viewer because it's really dangerous for your eyes.
Fortunately, there is plenty to do on the day.
So the best time to see it is between 10:15 and 3:15. Hopefully it will be a really nice clear day, so you'll have lots of nice views of the sun. The Astronomical Society will be open for the day, so you can go there and have a look at it for yourself, and they've had telescopes there and everything. Or you can come down to the reserve and we'll have Otago Museum communicators telling you all about the Venus, giving out some more solar viewers, and just really getting you excited about the day.
The last transit of Venus was in 1882, and don't expect to be alive for the next. Let's hope our one and only chance to see the event is not hampered by the forecast snow. David Lockray, 9 Local News.
Here at Mercury Bay Area School in Whitianga on the Coromandel Peninsula of New Zealand. We're here for a very special event. We're looking at the sun with a whole bunch of telescopes here. We're looking at what's called the transit of Venus. This is when the sun is covered minutely by Venus as it crosses in front of the sun over a period of about 6 hours. And it started about an hour ago here, and we're very lucky because the clouds have parted and let us see this event. This is very important for this part of New Zealand because Captain Cook came to see the transit of Venus in Tahiti in 1769, June the 6th, the same day as we are here today. And then after seeing it in Tahiti, he came on to New Zealand and came to this spot and saw the transit of Mercury, which is a very similar event. He saw it at what we now call Cook's Beach, and Whitianga Bay is now called Mercury Bay, named after the transit of Mercury. Now, the transit of Mercury was an important event as well. It also allowed Cook to determine precisely his location on the globe. He didn't know exactly where he was, but looking at the transit of Mercury, he was able to pinpoint his place exactly on the globe, and he could go on there to map the rest of New Zealand and Australia and other places and put them correctly in their position on the globe. It was a very important advance. It was the first scientific observation, scientific experiment, if you like, in New Zealand's history, and it's been hugely important. The transit of Venus, of course, in itself is a very important event. It allows the astronomers to know how big the universe was. In those days, their universe was quite small, really. They had the sun and they had 6 planets. That's all they knew about. And they had a map. Kepler gave them a map of their universe, their solar system, but the map had no scale. By observing the transit of Venus like we're doing today, using quite simple geometry, they could work out the distance to Venus. Once they knew the distance of one thing on that map of theirs, they could work out the scale of the whole map, the distances to the planets and the sun and everything else in their universe. So it's a very important event for us here. It's still important scientifically because we are now at the stage where we have satellites looking for other planets transiting or crossing in front of their own suns, their own stars. They're a long way away. And the Hubble telescope is dedicated today to looking at this event. And this allows us to work out how a planet the size of Venus would look if it was crossing another star.
This One News Update is brought to you by ANZ, strategic partner of National Field Days.
There was a rare event in our skies today, and thousands of people around the country were hoping for a glimpse.
The transit of Venus, when the planet passes between the Earth and the Sun, won't happen again for over 100 years. Charlotte Whale has more.
At the Auckland Stardome, all eyes were on the sky.
It's been just such an incredibly cool experience to get to see this. It's extraordinary.
During the brief pockets of sun,
Gone again.
This is what they got to see. Looking just like a beauty spot on the face of the sun, Venus took around 6 hours to make its way across. Down south at Mount John Observatory, sky gazers braved the cold climates and were rewarded.
Yes, I can see.
It'll be another 105 years until Venus does this again, and it's a rare opportunity for astronomers who are measuring small dips in the sun's brightness to map new planets beyond our solar system.
We can now go and extrapolate that out to the stars that are in the nighttime sky, and we can measure that tiny drop in brightness and infer that there are planets orbiting around those stars there now.
Scientists have been studying the event for centuries. In 1769, dozens of explorers were sent across the globe to record it.
It's been described as the Apollo effort of its time.
One of those explorers was James Cook. He was dispatched to Tahiti, and it was on that expedition that he first discovered New Zealand. Over on the east coast, close to where Captain Cook landed, crowds in Otago Bay were left happy with a great view. But at 4:45, Venus neared the end of its crossing, and it was goodbye for another century. Charlotte Whale, One News.
This One News update is brought to you by ANZ, strategic partner of National Field Days.